Hey, Enrique, thank you for coming in. You do a lot in this multiverse computing, and you're the largest quantum computing company in the European Union, and you're listed as one of the top companies in the world. You have a lot of degrees, so it's quite amazing. And you do a lot. You're embedded in the Quantum Industry Consortium, and you have this great experience in startup companies. So really, and you fly planes as well. So,
Yes.
And I think you're even vice president and treasurer of the school, right?
Yes.
The flight school. So
Flying school, yes.
What don't you do?
Well, I mean, if I were completely clever and intelligent, probably I will be much richer than I am. So something wrong I'm doing about that, but you are right. First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity, even just to come here and explain. Yes, I have as you can see in the color of my hair, I mean, I have I'm nearly 60, so I have different lives before. Okay, now one of the things that you learn is that you can reinvent as much as you want if you are decide to put the effort and to try to learn new tricks, how to manage new tools, and you are not exactly wise enough, but bold enough to take new adventures and so on. And this is the meaning of all. You are right. I mean, I started in 1982 studying medicine. In a medical school, yes. In fact, I am a doctor. I mean, I could practice medicine. I don't think that will be quite nice for my would-be patients. I mean, after so many years, but I started to do that, and I discovered that career was not for me. I didn't like it. So that was a mistake. But I have started medicine. So in my family, my family was not so rich. I mean, I came from a not poor, but low-level family in the sense of economic resources and so on. They told me, boy, it's fine, but you have to finish what you start. And so, first of all, you finish your career, your medical career, and then you decide, because then you are on your own. And so I did. So I finished medicine. I decided not to go on, while at the same time I was working in one main IT companies, and they are in Navarra, where I studied my career. And I decided that I wanted something different. I managed to convince an MBA, a prestigious MBA here, which is the IESE Business School from Barcelona. They also have some centers in Munich and Sao Paulo and New York, precisely. This is one of the most relevant MBA business school, according to the Financial Times and Economics. I convinced them to accept me as a student. They asked they asked me for previous working experience, but I managed just to convince them that I have that. And yes, I took 2 years from an MBA, and I decided to go working in IT. That was what I thought at that time that was interesting for me. And I entered in finance. I say, finance, why not? But, I was not thriving for finance. It was just a way just to start working in IT and so on. I stayed there. 2 years later, I noticed that IT was very good, but it didn't feel my let's say my need for adventure and so on. So I accept to change inside the bank to a marketing goal, then a planning, then after that to a compliance, and at the end I stayed more than 20 years in finance. I even was a deputy director of a bank here in Spain. But in the meanwhile, people was asking me, what are doing a medical doctor inside a bank? This is kind of strange. I mean, you are not expected to know anything about finance. So I decided to take another degree. That was my real love, that was mathematics. And I was just attending to the university while working, and that was real hard. I mean, because I remember days that I have just to start at 8 o'clock in the morning, then at 15 go to the university, then to turn about 18, and then from 18 to 21 in the evening, working there on the bank, and then to home, and then my wife was complaining every day because I was not. Just just to drive faster, I learned to ride the bike, a motorbike. So I love motorbikes now. And so yes, then I got my degree in mathematics. My degree in mathematics, then the PhD, which is in biostatistics, and a second degree that I took later that is in computing engineering. And that was all, because I mean, that was so much. I had a lot of fun just studying, but I decided, okay, enough is enough. I mean, you are having so much fun studying, but life is not about studying, it's about doing something else. So I continued at the bank, and at some point, then the financial crisis of 2008 arrived. Okay, I was just there. I was the deputy director of the bank, and it was a quite stressed times. I mean, I remember the negotiations. The bank was acquired by the BBA later, so I was working also in the bank inside the real estate, just selling of the assets of the flats, apartments, houses, and so on from the bank. When I finished with that, it was clear that I was not going to go on with the bank, and I decided, okay, if you are not going to stay in the bank, maybe it's time to look for something else, because I mean, you have already have fun just doing finance. You have arrived to deputy director, but this business is not your business. I mean, and you say, okay, what about doing something else? And then I decide, okay, not going on with finance. I say, let's try to build something. Let's. I start some business, most related with medicine. Curiously enough, most related to with some friends. Okay, it was a pity because I started a business with a friend, and then the friend died. Then the business went to the hell. So then I started another one. But at some point, I was introduced to one person, which is now a founder of Multiverse, Alfonso. He was just leading a not-for-profit association, the Quantum World Association. Okay, that was about just giving speeches, stating that what we can do with quantum, particularly in finance. Okay, I can understand what to do in finance with mathematics and quantum and so on. And I was there introduced to a dozen of people or something like that. We set up a working group inside the Quantum World Association, and that was the Quantum for Quants. This was a working group of, yes, I said 12 people or so on. So fine, then we have this group, and we decide to meet, and we say, okay, we have to do something, because this is a working group. It is supposed that we have to work in something. Okay, fine. And then we say, okay, what about which are the applications of quantum computing in finance? What you can do and what you cannot do, and the things that we cannot do. How long should we wait until something happens with the quantum computers, etc., etc. As always, in a not-for-profit association, when you don't pay, you cannot not expect the people just work for free. So from the 12 initial members of the working group, just 4 remain at the end on the paper on quantum and finance. These 4 are the founders of Multiverse. Okay, 2 people from physics, Romano Rus, which is a quite senior figure in the field, and also in quantum-inspired methods. Sam Mugel, which is a French one, also of physics, quite well-versed in quantum, Alfonso, and me. And then, from then on, the story is more or less well-known. We published a paper that was well-received. Okay, we were invited to attend an stream in Toronto, which is the Creative Destruction Labs in the stream in quantum. We went there and we noticed that the paper that we have wrote, it was given to the other startups for free to learn where to apply quantum computing in finance. And we say, wow. So those people are getting the knowledge that we have already prepared, yes, for free. That means that probably somebody has made a mistake, okay, and probably the one that has made a mistake are us. So maybe we should just start the company. And so we start the company, Multiverse Computing. From then on, I mean, that was about multiverse growing and so on. But can you see, I mean, you never know which are the things that where you are going to end at the end. I mean, I have to tell you that when I decided to study medicine, okay, one of the things that I wanted to study before that was physics. And I decided not to study physics because the people that I interviewed to know where they were working, none of them were working in physics. So I decided to study medicine. That was a mistake. Then I went to finance. Okay, fine, but it's not closer than medicine to my soul. And then they say, okay, I want to start something. And then I have come back to physics and mathematics and starting a company. So it looks like nature or the universe is just helping you to do this kind of journey to your soul. I mean, that sounds quite spiritual, but this is the best way to explain. You have to do what you think best. You have to do the things that makes you happy and fun. Even that we have difficult times sometimes or discussions or whatever, but this is super important. And if you have the view at the end on where you want to arrive, definitely you are arriving at that. Okay, sorry, just for this so long introduction about everything and so on.
Okay, so let me try to unpack, because there was a lot of content there, right? So yeah. You had this passion, a curiosity. I'm going to kind of summarize. And that ended up you getting an MD, a medical degree. And in fact, when I was looking at your profile, I was thinking, it doesn't make sense. That MD must be a master's. But no,
yes. No. It's a medical degree. Yes, I can write a prescription and so on. Yes, better for you. I don't do that, but I can legally. I can.
Yeah. So you had this interest in physics and things like that, but you ended up doing this medical degree, and then you thought, you know what, I got to do something more. So you get this MBA, and it's a concentration in finance, and you end up applying that finance. In fact, even ending up as deputy CEO of a bank, Union Bank, for over 2 decades in the financial banking sectors. But really, you were still drawn. Your passion was for mathematics and things like that. So you end up going and getting a bachelor's in mathematics, and you end up also doing a computer engineering degree, and you also get a PhD. So you got 5 degrees. Really transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary in terms of your interests. And then you do this startup stuff too with BlockTech and Omnix Health and so on, showing that you have that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. You get drawn into this quantum, a nonprofit, and it ends up that you publish paper and everybody is really excited about it, but you're thinking, hey, I'm getting it away for free, and these other startups are going to use it. So you start your own startup, and that's Multiverse Computing, which is focused on quantum computing. Did that kind of summarize your journey?
Yes, it's a quite super good summarize. It's not even a summary. You have not summarized it. You have just explained that better than me, in fact. So this is the point. Yes. This has been how my life in the last let's say 30 years, maybe from the professional point of view, for sure.
Okay, so now let's kind of delve into quantum computing, right? Because now you're the CEO and founder of Multiverse Computing, and some of those people with you are from that nonprofit quantum organization, right?
Yes.
And you're now recognized as the largest quantum company in the European Union, and you're listed amongst the 100 most promising companies in AI, interesting enough, by CB Insights. And CB Insights is like the #1 or one of the most premier sort of companies in profiling startups and helping startups and investors and so on. So to get that listing is pretty prestigious. So your quantum computing company then is focused on finance then, because you got this math and finance background. Is that where you're sort of focusing right now?
Yes, no, not, but you have just nailed that. At the beginning, when we decided where just to apply quantum computing, the people coming from physics say, okay, where should we apply? And say, obviously, finance. I mean, this is quite, I know about finance, I know where to apply quantum, and also which are the main problems in finance, in quantitative finance. I mean, derivatives and so on, and say finance should be. And my partner say, okay, you are right, finance is going to be. Okay, and we started in finance. And our first customers came from finance, BBVA, Crédit Agricole, CaixaBank, etc. So even the Bank of Canada, which is the central bank there. So everything was going well. I mean, we are in finance, we are focused, we know about that, perfect. But sometimes things like in my personal history, I mean, things go through other way. The water is just diverted. And in this case, what happened is that some people from energy was coming to us and saying, okay, we have some nice problems, optimization problems. Okay, that I think that they say, I think that we think that they are interested enough, and you can do that, and we can try to solve together because energy is important, the transition, etc., etc., etc. And we say, no, we are focused in finance. This is a finance company. Okay. Then the people came back to us and they say, okay, I know, we know you say no, but we have those problems. We are even paying for that. I mean, we are not expecting you just to work for free, which is something which is quite interesting for a company, just getting money from the customers. And they say, no, we should be focused on that, etc., etc., etc. But at the end, we said, okay, fine. I mean, this is a customer. He's willing to pay. The problem looks quite similar to the things that we are doing. Let's try to do that. And it was exactly the same problem that we were running in finance. Exactly the same. I mean, you change some variables, you change the things, but this is just exactly the same kind of problem. And we say, okay, fine. So once you have tasted this drug, I mean, can we repeat? Can we just get a second customer from energy? Maybe. And we say, okay, let's try. And yes, we could. And then, once you have lost your let's say, your virginity, I mean, you start to say that, okay, maybe the point is not in finance, but the point is about which are the problems that we are solving, and that led to focus us in just two kinds of problems, which are optimization problems and particularly AI problems. And we say, okay, so we are just focusing on these solutions, and the customers are a bit farther than us because we need just to prove that those solutions work. And also we have to deploy those solutions to convince the other people that our solutions are good enough, etc., etc. And then now we are focusing on, or our focus is in these two things. What we do, we provide, we will talk about later about the product which is called Singularity, but we provide solutions that you can deploy based on quantum-inspired methods in optimization problems and AI problems. But those solutions must do something that very few people do in the quantum arena. And it's the solutions must beat the benchmarks from our customers. Why? Because if the customers has an economic incentive, I mean, add value that he's getting from a product from us, he's going to repeat. If not, this is just a research. So we did that. And yes, we prove customer after customer that our solution overcome the benchmark from our customers. They already have other kind of solutions for their problems. And that means that the customers is coming back for more in different problems, because AI problems and optimization are quite general problems. And also that we can get some other customers just by showing what we have already done in blue chips. So that means that the commercial traction scale up quite fast. In fact, they scale up quite so fast that at some point we have problems just not hiring, but organizing the company, the tech part, and so on, because there are a lot of different projects. This is the focus. So now we work in finance, but finance is not the largest vertical at all, to say something. Not because we have just left out finance, but just because the other industries are growing much faster. For example, energy. Energy is, I think this is the best seller vertical, the best seller industry we are in. Why? Because with the green transition and climate transition, all the companies need some solutions just to cope with the demand of electricity, or just for a best distribution of electricity, which is an optimization problem. Or now allocating batteries just to store the electricity coming from renewable sources, for example, wind, or for example, photovoltaic, and so on. That is not predictable. They are not predictable. So you have to store the energy in batteries, and more, even in trains, even in cars, and so on. Given that we are just electrifying all the economy, the solutions that we have today, the solutions that the industry has today, just to electrify in an optimal way the distribution and the storage and also the generation of energy, are not good enough. And we provide that, because most of the time this is related to either an optimization problem, either to some kind of AI, artificial intelligence problem, for example, in forecasting of those kind of things. Also, manufacturing is much larger than finance now, because, and this is also related to energy. Most of the manufacturers, especially the car manufacturers, they are transitioning to a different kind of, let's say, models and engineering and so on. They need different solutions, and also they need more cleaner from the energy point of view, or setting up of the factories and so on. Apart from that, we have finance, for sure. We have engineering, space. Space is just restricted to quantum-inspired methods, because you cannot contact with a quantum computer because you need the cloud. So our solutions in quantum-inspired, which are based in mathematical family of solutions, which is called tensor networks, nothing to do with TensorFlow, tensor networks. They can run with less electrical power. They require less computing power just to solve the same equations and problems, and they are more precise. In fact, tensor networks are the tools that you use regularly to prove or disprove that a quantum computer has achieved quantum supremacy. So you can use that. And nowadays, it's natural, given the shape of the things that are happening in the world. We are in defense as well, okay, in problems with also cybersecurity and those kind of things. But yes, Multiverse is just focused on those solutions: optimization, machine learning, or AI, advanced AI. Our solutions are used, I think, in more than 50 customers everywhere, through different industries, through different verticals. And that's just because these two things, optimization and AI, everybody is going for that. So, and the solutions that the industry had at that point, they are not good enough. So it's easy for us to beat the benchmarks. Okay. I don't know whether I have made my position clear, or the position of Multiverse clear, but I'm happy to clarify that, Stephen.
Yeah, so let me summarize in my mind, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. So let me try to summarize what you just indicated. So because of your finance background and your interest, your original sort of target was sort of financial applications and the application of quantum computing to financial applications, and particular optimization meaning things are really complicated, and how can I optimize that to make it more efficient and faster when they're really complicated, right? So because of this kind of property of quantum computing, being able to work on multiple things at the same time, and it's like massively parallel attack on a particular problem, and then you can optimize it, make it more efficient, and come to a solution faster. You can do that in finance, and you apply that to AI as well. So it's really the combination of the two. But because making things more efficient and faster and so on, and you combine it with AI, machine learning, the combination, you have many applications, goes beyond finance. And so people are saying, your customers, you have over 50 customers, are saying, well, why don't you apply it to this huge problem called energy? Because there's a lot of optimization challenges in energy where you can make things a lot better, and you can store things better, you can distribute it better, you can energy's everywhere, and it's being consumed at enormous rates. You got to just have more efficiency in whichever way you can think of. So you're thinking, oh, okay. And then when you play with it, you find it's really the same problem. Yeah, we may have to adjust a few things, but really it's the same approach, right? So now you're getting this optimization, machine learning into energy, and then people are from manufacturing or the same thing, and you're going, yeah, we can do that, manufacturing, and then space technologies. And it seems like wherever you go, because you're doing optimization combined with AI, it can apply to pretty well any kind of industry. And the interesting thing is that the customer in the energy sector said, we'll actually pay you to do this.
Yes.
We'll pay you to kind of convert what you're doing into these different areas. So what I'm hearing is that you've got strong interest in commercialization of quantum computing and solving real practical problems, not these kind of esoteric toy problems that prove quantum, but actually something that does something.
Yes.
You know what, Enrique, that's really exciting. I'm really excited because that's rare. There is that. And so what I'm hearing then is, sometimes when you can't do a quantum algorithm, then you'll do a quantum-inspired algorithm, which of course will work on any computing system, but uses quantum principles, and yet you get speed up and more efficiencies and less consumption of computing cycles and so on. And so it sounds like then you're applying all of these algorithmic principles, whether it's pure quantum or quantum-inspired, to solve all of these problems across industries. And it sounds like then you're really hardware agnostic. That's what I'm hearing. You'll work on IBM,
that's
Quantinuum, et cetera, et cetera. So you're just, you have a playground of the universe of all quantum hardware. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, that's right. That's right. There are two reasons to be quantum agnostic, in fact. One is today, the quantum computers are not powerful enough just to achieve quantum supremacy in real business problems. Very few. You can apply quantum computers for some problems in optimization and AI, but beware, because you are not achieving quantum supremacy. You are only achieving supremacy over the solutions from your customers. For sure, your customers, our customers, are blue chip ones. I mean, they know what they are doing, but they are not using a supercomputer in the lab center just in a product manufacturing line. They cannot, nobody can. So they have to use some computer, and you can beat that with another solution. But I have a nice example of how those kind of problems repeat from industry, completely different industries. I mean, look, when we were working in finance, we have an algorithm, quite good solution for what is called anomaly detection. Like you have a stream of data and you have to detect something where. Why finance wants to work with that? Because if you apply that to quotations and some other information, you can decide just to buy some shares, sell some shares, or and earn money. Fine. So this is a well-known product in finance, and we have those solutions. But then we went to manufacturing, and that was, I think, Bosch. I mean, and that was predictive maintenance, okay? Predictive maintenance is also a well-known problem in manufacturing, knowing when a machine is going to fail. You have a lot of data, okay? And you have to decide without sensors when a machine is going to fail and just to apply predictive maintenance and so on. Fine. The point is we do faster, better, more precise, and so on. So we have just two industries, finance and then manufacturing, car manufacturing, in fact, you can say. But then, okay, one day we were talking with a hospital here in Barcelona. It's a third-level hospital, transplantations and so on. I mean, large one. They have an intensive care unit, 140 beds, fully connected. I mean, 40 connections in each bed to the sensors, oxygen, pressure, etc., 5 seconds of millisampling, and so on. And the physicians inside the intensive care unit, they told us, we are not interested in knowing which of those patients are going to live 100 years or more, or which of them are going to develop some, let's say, cancer or whatever in the future. We are just interested in which of the 140 patients we have in the intensive care unit are going to have some problem in the next 20 minutes or half an hour. Because we don't have the rules to detect that. So what is this? We say, okay, this is predictive maintenance for humans. And they say, okay, so we apply the same algorithms there. But the things even go further. I mean, because here in Spain, we were introduced to a football in the European way, soccer, okay, team. And they told us, we have a lot of data on our players. I mean, whatever you want, what they eat, how they run, the performance, the speed, acceleration, how many hours they sleep, which are everything you may think. I mean, we have a sea of data. But the only thing we want to know is which one of those football players, soccer players, are going to have an injury in the next, let's say, week or 2 weeks, just to prevent that. Because, a football player is much more expensive than a machine from Bosch in a manufacturing line. I mean, much more expensive. And we say, okay, it's again the same problem. It's again the same solution. Can't you see? I mean, finance, manufacturing, healthcare. I mean, even football. Okay, a lot of. I mean, and that not talking about defense or so on. But can you see how the problems of our society just aggregates themselves in very, very few different ones? The only thing is that you need to recognize those as the real problem that is behind, not on the front line. Because if not, I will have never said that we were going to work or produce a solution that is now selling a full solution with a screen, everything, in just for football clubs, just to manage, let's say, 500 million euros in football players or so on. But we are doing now. And this is exactly the same problem. Can you see how those solutions are exactly the same? I mean, astounding. This has been a discovery for me as well.
This is really quite fascinating. So I'm going to build a little bit of context to the audience, right? And then I'll build that context and relate it to what you're saying. In quantum computing, there's these really sort of niche applications on the hardware side, and what they're trying to do is produce a universal quantum system, which can work on any problem. So it's a kind of generalized, and then that's where you get the power, right? Because you can apply it to anything and solve a myriad of problems, and that's on the hardware side. So there's this kind of attempt to get into this universal quantum capability, and it's a few years out, even though they can do smaller niche kind of areas of quantum. What you're doing in your quantum algorithms is you're generalizing. It's like you got a universal quantum algorithm, and the reason is that you found that there's a common problem, this anomaly detection. No matter what you do, you're always looking for the things that are anomalies. And if you can do that, you can help manufacturing. As you mentioned, you can help manage soccer teams, you can manage healthcare units, because people are looking for these anomalies that appear, and you want to be to predict them ahead of time, because that can save lives, save money, and it could do a myriad of things. So you found this way of generalizing using this anomaly detection across any, in fact, I can't think of an industry that wouldn't want that, right? And in fact, I can see your system now even predicting sort of black swan events. The idea of a black swan event is one that is so catastrophic, is so important, that it kind of creates an entire shift to an industry, because you're you with your optimization and AI capability have the ability to predict these events as they're going to come up, because you can ingest all of this information and say, you know what, this is what we see, right, as a probability. That's very commercial.
Yes. In fact, you are. Sorry, go on.
I can see you going public or something, or somebody acquiring you, and you definitely have a unicorn, or in my opinion, right? I'm not recommending. We're not allowed on public things to do investment stuff. But what I'm saying is that you're a unicorn, even if I don't know. Have you raised? But you definitely have this kind of. Commercialization is a really tough egg to crack, and you've cracked it. You've got an omelet here.
Yes, this is the point. You are quite right. I mean, as you have explained, I mean, if you are working in quantum software, most of the people are working on applying, let's say, optimizing or helping the quantum hardware. So you are quite focused on some software problems quite related. But the point is, and usually the companies that has worked in quantum software, when they have gone to the final user, they have just gone giving quantum as a trial. I mean, let's start now using quantum, because in the future this is going to be a reality, and so you will be better prepared just to take advantage, etc., etc. But the point is, I have been on the other side in the bank. I'm not interested in what is going to happen in the next 20 years, for sure not. I cannot predict that. I mean, I even remember I was working in planning, and I have made mistake after mistake forecasting the finance in the next 20 years. Nobody's interested in that, and even less the people. Sorry, it's Alexa trying to interfere this conversation. The people working in the middle layers of the bank, they are not interested in what's going to happen in the next 20 years. They are not going to be there. They are just interested in having real added value today or tomorrow or so on, because you have to deliver, let's say, close time solutions, in the sense that they must get something real in the next 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, if you ask me, tomorrow, but no more. And that means just focusing on real problems. Because if not, I mean, going to their boss and trying to explain a differential equation to a board of directors, this is not going to work. This is going to just to make the board of directors cut their head. So you have to provide real solutions. So the scope of problems that you can just tackle with quantum computing and quantum inspired becomes quite smaller, and you have to focus on those problems where you may beat the benchmarks from your customers. This is where the money is, as today. In the future, for sure, when we have a quantum computer, we will just break the encryption, etc., and discover super good drugs and so on. Nobody's going to pay for that as today. Maybe some research projects, but this is not the way just to get money. It has never been. Exactly the same with AI. AI is fantastic, but where the money were coming before ChatGPT 4 and so on, in the bots. The hideous bot that you try to avoid while using a web page. That was where the money was. Now we are focused just here in optimization and AI. We can just overcome the benchmarks from our customers, and that means money for our customers, money from us for us, also repeating projects, and also the opportunity to develop a product which is Singularity, just to deliver our solutions in a production environment. So this is the way. This is how we have created the code. We have explained this time and again. But we are fortunate also because our competitors are super good and so on. But a lot of them, they came from the academic industry. And beware, the business problem is not an academic problem. Right. You have to understand the other way. You have to fulfill what the other player, your customer is expecting. You have to avoid promising them things that you cannot deliver, and you have to focus yourself in the things that you know that you can deliver. And you have to listen a lot to your customer, because it's your customer. It's the one that has decided to pay you money for doing that. So what is he expecting? You have to deliver that. So, but this is the traditional customer approach. If you go to some other industry, if you go to Unilever or something like that, when they are just producing yogurt, or I don't know what, or sausages, they are delivering those kind of projects that the customer wants. It's exactly the same here.
Yeah, and in fact, when you go to a customer and you propose, or somebody proposes, you know what, we're going to apply quantum computing to you, and they'll say, no, I'm not interested. Actually, it's a yes with conditions. It's a yes if you satisfy these benchmarks or problems I have. If you solve those problems that are real to me as a business, then it's a yes. So a no is never a no. It's just a yes with conditions. And as long as you can meet those conditions and those benchmarks and solve those real world practical problems, they will embrace quantum inspired computing and quantum algorithms, which is what you do. Yeah. And because you worked in the bank, you were meant to work in the bank for over 2 decades, because you understand business and you understand problems and you understand that you can't go 20 years out. Doesn't mean anything to anybody, right? So, yes. And because you've done startups, you understand that mentality of entrepreneurship, and then marrying that to focus on what the needs of the customer is, right? Because the customer will tell you what they want, and you meet their need, they will pay for it. So
yes.
And the customer, I understand what you're saying.
Yes, the customer is the ultimate judge of your work. I mean, right. It's not about just making. This is for sure. We benchmark our solutions with the benchmark with our customers, but also with some other environments and so on. But you have to think about if some car manufacturer comes to you and they want to apply quantum in a manufacturing line. Maybe that's possible, or maybe not, because they cannot. The quantum computers connected through the cloud cannot provide the speed that they need just to take decisions on the real time. Or maybe you have to apply quantum inspired. You have to explain that to the customers. Okay. If you want to apply it in a, let's say, just to a design solution, for example, on clutches or something like that, you can use a quantum computer, and that is going to be better than the solution from the customer. Probably, if the customer wants to go to an HPC center, allocate time from the HPC center, just wait, let's say 1 week, 2 days, or 6 months, just for the time, because this is a regular time, he will do it better and faster. But come on, I mean, if you want to design or to check, let's say, the structure of a plane, that's something that Airbus or Boeing are going to do with an HPC. But most of the customers, large customers, are not going to do that in the day-to-day. And they are still spending a lot of money in solutions that are not good enough for them. And the world is full of those kind of problems.
Yes, I can see the reason that you're doing so well, and really all of that educational background you have is makes this you who can understand the complexity of practicality as well, right? So taking the complex and sort of narrowing it down to, so it's really, really and honed practical to the needs of the clients. I can see why you're doing that and why it's working. So I understand what you're doing. It's quite remarkable.
Oh, thank you very much.
We're going to shift directions now. We're going to shift directions because you're also the treasurer and the member of the leadership team, a member of the governing board of the European Quantum Industry Consortium. So can you talk about that?
Yes.
And you're co-lead of the SME and funding work group of the
Yes.
Quantum Industry Consortium. So, and you're also a member of the Quantum World Association. So why do you do this? What's the purpose of this organization? If people are interested in quantum information science and technology, should they join or not? What's the value do they get out of this? And what value do you get out of this? Why are you part of this association?
Well, there are two associations that I am currently a member. One of them is the Quantum World Association. That was the initial association where I met the other co-founders of Multiverse. I mean, with the working group and so on. This is a small one. This is about just going for free, delivering some speech there, or where those are motivational speeches, to say something. Quick, the European Quantum Industry Consortium is a different beast. So, and that we have to see the Quick in detail. This may be different from the American viewers of this podcast, but I have to explain. Europe, in Europe, the things are different than as in the States and in China. I mean, you already know that. So, but we have a lot of talent here. I mean, scientific talent. We have, and this talent is well-renowned. We set up some companies, but there are different reasons, and we can talk about that later. But at the end, a very large part of this talent in Europe is just migrating to the United States, and it's going just to work in companies in the United States, or even worse, they are just founding the companies in the United States. So, for example, if you go and see the largest companies in the United States, some of them are, Google, Facebook, well, now Meta, okay, Microsoft, Apple, etc., etc. They change. I mean, even now they are so large, but every 20 years or so on, or maybe 30 or whatever, they are changing. Some new companies appear, they grow large, and so on. In Europe, it doesn't go that way. We have the same companies, mostly the same companies from 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and so on. And we cannot retain the talent. So at some point, the European Commission was expecting, they didn't found Quick, but they were just supportive of that. They say, okay, we need an association for the quantum industry. We need that the quantum industry in Europe should be stronger. I mean, we have to offer some positions to the people that are coming from academia and so on, because if not, what they talk always about technological sovereignty, but we are very good partners of the United States, for sure. But they say, okay, but Europe, if not, this is going just to end at the end like Disney World, let's say, with real stones, full of history, but not tech. I mean, not tech enough just to compete with either the United States or even China. I mean, no way. So the companies working in quantum, not only the companies like Multiverse and so on, but also the large companies, SAP, Bosch, Thales, etc., they decide, okay, let's set up an association, because that allows the industry in Europe just to put a voice on the, not only on the European Commission, but also as a kind of establishing relationship with our equals on the United States, QEDC, on Canada, also now on UK, and so on. We have to just go together. We have to establish those links inside Europe. This is more difficult because in Europe we have different languages, different laws, different countries. This is a mess, but somehow we have to start doing that. And so Quick was born. Now we are 100, more than 170 companies. I mean, this is large. This is this is restricted to European companies, but also we have different plans for the future that may change that, depending. May change in the future, but this provides the European companies working in quantum with an association to bring a common voice to our institutions and to some other countries, or just to transmit, to express, to explain the problems and positions and suggestions from the European quantum companies. And this is the goal of Quick, and this is the reason for the companies to join. This has been the reason for Multiverse to join. Not only that, but also because you have close relationship with the other members of Quick. So it's easier for us, given that there are also companies that are buying quantum solutions, not just selling solutions. This is a very good place just to establish contact, to start working together in some different problems, and or so on. But this is the goal, just to help, to secure, to make the European quantum industry stronger and more united. I mean, if not, I mean, Europe has lost, for example, cloud computing, which are the main providers of cloud computer. I mean, you have then AWS, you have Microsoft, and then even Google, they have something. But if you go to Europe, for example, you don't have anything. Which are the largest companies, let's say, for example, in mobile? I mean, 2 operating systems, both of them you can see. I mean, which is the largest company that we have, let's say, in mobile? Nokia. You know what happened. So this is the reason. And also, once we have this association, we can establish direct links and direct relationship with as I said, with our partners in some other countries, QEDC, QStar in Japan, Quantum Industry Canada, etc., etc. And that makes easier for the European companies to help our partners, just to set a common goal, a common framework with the international associations, just to defend the global quantum industry and to help that. So this is a traditional way just to try to intervene and to have just talks with the government, institutions, etc., etc., etc. For me, the solution, the decision was quite clear. I decided I must be in this association. Multiverse should be, but I should be involved in the dealings of this association, helping with my time. It's for free. I mean, I'm not getting funding. I'm the treasurer, so that checks is quite good because I have the experience just to deal with the finance and so on. So the only things I have to take care from the treasury point of view is that we have money enough to support the association and make sure that the people are paying the fees and so on. And then, apart from the association, trying to help, for example, the European startups. European startups are usually the brief of venture capital funds. We don't have a venture capital industry as strong as the United States. So the people here, the startups, usually they lack the experience that the American counterparts have. I mean, United States is much well developed in this sense that the ecosystem that in Europe. We have to help them just to get funding, get public funding or private funding, helping them with just explaining to the investors, helping them to contact the venture capital, etc., etc. These kind of things that somebody has to do or has to do to help those small companies, because the larger that the European industry is, the better for everybody, even us. I mean, we need competitors just to thrive. We need that. Competence is the key of everything at the end. Competition, benchmarks. Oh, sorry again, I have just explain everything.
Yeah, you gave, as you do with everything, you give quite a detailed explanation, which shows your passion, your commitment, your deep understanding. So this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the European context is different because you've got multiple languages and it's a big continent. You got all these different countries. You may even have competing efforts, and the nascent aspect of startups and things like that is not like in America, which is much stronger. And so you had to produce something so you can work together. And that's the purpose of this Quantum Industry Consortium in the European context. So you can work as a body together, you can help each other, you can collaborate. And then as an entity, you can then contact the American equivalents or the ones in Canada and Japan. It gives you a bigger voice, but it also allows you to work together in a concerted way. And it's because it's just the history of your region requires it. And I can see now why it's there. I can see why you're the treasurer as well. That two decades of being in finance is always helping you, right?
Yes, I mean, yes, you are right. You are right. I mean, I will tell you a secret. The best place just to be in any kind of association is the treasurer, because as a treasurer, okay, yes, you have a degree of control over the money. I mean, you have to you have to be aware about having money enough and the people paying and so on. But you are well informed about everything, because at the end of the day, you are the one that has to pay. Right. So this position, which is not most of the people don't want to get this position because that involves also responsibility. And if something goes wrong, you are responsible for that. You are accountable for that. But this is a very good position. If you know how to do that, I mean, go for that, because then your voice they are listening to you, and you are also proposing things that are good for the association. And if there is, in Quick, we don't have political infight, but in some other treasury position, there is a political infight. Usually, the treasury is out of that. I mean, you don't play with the money. I mean, this is the procedure.
Yeah, and in fact, you come from the banking sector, which is actually quite conservative. So you can bring that conservatism into, and your MBA and your finance background into this job. And you also were a former professor of engineering statistics and finance and marketing. So it's really interesting how every aspect of your background really does play into what you do, including you're solving these anomaly issues, like as you mentioned, kind of maintenance of humans in this hospital. Because you're a doctor, you would understand the issues as well, right? So
there are. I mean, we are speaking English. Probably you speak English much better than me. I have quite a strong Spanish accent. But the point is, even speaking English with some people, the languages are different. If you go to a doctor, they speak a different language. The language is different. I mean, when they talk about something, you have to understand them. If you go to finance, it's exactly the same. Even an innocuous or sentence, maybe there is more information in this sentence than expected. So if you know you are used to what they are saying, then you get the idea faster, more precise, and you can just answer, and just you can deliver what they want. So yes, you are right. Probably Multiverse in this is also, you are right. I mean, my previous background helped me in some of those situations. Also, my previous background has told me not to step in the fields of my co-founders and so on. They are much better than me in quantum. So the worst thing I may do is just to step in. Even if I am a mathematician, I have to recognize they know much better. So if they say that this solution is doable, it's doable. If they say that this is not doable, it's not doable, and so on. But this is also the goal of a CEO. You have to the decisions, you can take some of them, and the other ones, you have to have confidence in your people to take the decisions, and you have to support them.
Yeah, but there's also a situation where they say maybe it's not possible because they're thinking too narrow. And because you think in a very broad way, you may be to get them to think, well, maybe it is. It's like Steve Jobs, right? He pushed his people to do the impossible.
You are right.
And so you should never, not always say, oh, okay, no.
Look, I will tell you, yes, I will tell you a story on that. Yes, if I will have time. I mean, you are right, but you have to do it in the right time, in the right way, because if you try to force, they are going to resist, and then you're... Look, we have a product now. This is on tensor networks, so it's quantum inspired, and it's going to be published in our websites in the next 2 weeks or so. And this is an LLM compressor. So there's a compressor. Okay, yes. I mean, a large language model or some other or AI models are super large. They are gigabytes or whatever, and they have billions of parameters and so on. And the point is, can you compress this model so it can is smaller, but while maintaining the accuracy? Okay, more or less. You say, okay. Can it be done? Because we have already done something like that. We did that with, I think, with Bosch or some other, I think it was Bosch or something like that, in a different AI program. And they say, no. I mean, this is not doable and so on. Okay, let's go step by step. Can you just try to reduce this smaller problem and compress the neural network model? And the compression, they got a compression of 95%. I mean, the final model was 5%. They, okay. And they say, okay, can you see now? Look, if you have a model that is, let's say, 5%, 10%, 20%, even if it's 50% of the original one, okay, and the accuracy is more or less the same, you have to demonstrate that for sure. But then, can you see the potential value, economic value of that? If you have to retrain the model, it's cheaper, way cheaper. I mean, ChatGPT-4 cost $100 million, I said, the last training round. Okay, but a model that is half that, this is a lot of them. Not only that, if the model is particularly addressed to some specific problem, you can put that model offline. And that means that you don't need the cloud. So if the model can just understand what you are asking them, you can use in situations where you don't have access to the cloud. For example, in automobile, when you enter inside a tunnel and you are talking, let's say, with your assistant, you never want your assistant, let's say Siri, Alexa, or whoever, telling you, oh, we have lost the Wi-Fi connection. Sorry. No way. It's like Tony Stark, Iron Man, just flying. And then when Tony Stark arrives to the stratosphere, Jarvis tells Tony Stark, oh, sorry, I have lost the Wi-Fi connection. So then the people got the idea and said, oh, maybe you are right. Maybe we can find a way just to do that by tensorizing the neural network, then going layer by layer and some other tricks. They are cleverer than me, and say, okay, that's doable. And so that is going to develop in that way, which it was not expected. But I tell you one thing, once they have passed through this experience of being exposed to something that they thought that was not possible, and then it's possible, and they see which is the impact, they are super good at detecting some other opportunities. So much better than me. So, but you have to do with quite in a very you have to do it right, because if you try to just push, they are going to at some point, people are like that. They are going to resist you, and then in a fight of wills, to say something, they have more power than me to win, because they are the technical side. If they say it's not possible, it's not possible, and then I have to move to the technical side. I'm not such good at them, and nobody's going to win this fight. Well, nobody. No, I'm not going to win this fight. So you have to convince to make the problem smaller, more precise, and then they discovered that, and then unexpectedly they came with better solutions. Yes, that's how it works.
So let me sort of summarize what you're saying, right? So you have a situation where you have a team working on a problem, and then you say, well, why not try this? And they say, no, it can't. We're the experts. No, it can't be done. But, because you're transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary in your way of thinking, maybe there is a way. They just need to try harder, right? But you can't push too hard, because then they can rebel. They could say, you know what, you're pushing too hard, you're making me feel bad or uncomfortable. So
yes.
so what you're saying then is you have to employ this a concept of the theory of mind and EQ, emotional quotient. You have to kind of take their perspective and handle them gently and with nuance. And in that way, maybe by asking questions to break it into what I call stepwise refinement or a smaller problem, then that could be addressed, and that no is now a yes with conditions. And then by doing the yes with conditions, it opens up other possibilities. And as you mentioned, this idea of taking a large foundation model, which
yes.
is more the generic term for large language models or large diffusion models, and taking these things that are huge and have now trillions of parameters and take over $100 million. But if you can use tensor philosophy and capabilities to compress that to 5%, then it makes training much smaller, and it opens up a lot of capabilities, and is cheaper, and now you can it doesn't have to be on the cloud, and maybe it'll be on iPhone 20.
This is the goal. Let me explain that the 5% compression to a 5% has been done in a smaller model. LLM, probably the compression will be much lower than that. But even that, the economic rationale for the problem is the same, because if you are just compressing, let's say, 20% the model, just that, I mean, even that means millions of dollars. So this is a super nice business proposition. When you say, do you want to save, let's say, 20% of your costs when you retrain your model? I mean, while maintaining the accuracy? I mean, no-brainer. Yes, I would.
Yeah, precisely. In fact, we're running out of computational cycles anyway, so we need to be more efficient. We need to be to optimize this down, right? And in fact, if you do so, then you can embed it into a chip, and it can be on every mobile device. You can put it on the edge. So yeah, I can see the possibilities.
I mean, you have this is not an iWatch, for example, but I mean, you talk to your watch. I mean, there is no reason that the information goes from your iWatch to your iPhone to somewhere in a computing center in somewhere and then returns. No, this one should answer. At least some. Yes. Part of the query. If not, remember, you are Tony Stark inside, and Jarvis tells you, "Oh, sorry, I have lost my Wi-Fi," and the filter. Oh, fuck. No way.
Yeah, precisely, and you're working on that, and you're part of that solution of being able to localize it, so you don't have to do the round trips to the cloud or anywhere else. It's actually within your own personal device or any of the myriad of devices that are out there. Okay, we're down to our last two questions. This one question is, you fly planes, so that brings another kind of skill set. So now you speak flight language together with mathematics and engineering language and medical language and finance and statistical language and quantum language. You understand a lot of languages. Now you have flight language. Why got you interested in flying?
Oh, this is super nice. I started flying. I learned to fly in 1992. I mean, I decided just to go sailing. I mean, flying without engine or so, just sailing with, and I learned how to fly there. Then I didn't fly after learning how to fly for at least 20 years, so on. But my wife, in one anniversary of me, he gave me he paid for a course, a small course, just 5 hours of flying. here in a flying club that we have here, which is the air club from Barcelona. Well, this was like a drag. I started again, I fall again for then I got inside a course just to learn how to fly, but with engine and so on. I mean, which is a PPL private person license that allows me just to fly. Usually I fly with Cessna 172. This is the most, I mean, manufactured plane in the world, I think, so far. I really like to do that. I mean, it's so technical. I mean, looks like it's quite, let's say, emotional and so on. But at the end of the day, I mean, this is a private license, a private pilot license. You have just to start flying from your airport and then to contact the controller, the traffic, and just to do that and that and that and that. And that takes out a lot of stress for me when I fly, because you have to be concentrated, focused, completely focused on what you are doing. And this is lovely. This is lovely. I know how to fly. I cannot do acrobatic flying or so on. I mean, this is for people that knows much better than me how to fly. But I really love that. Well, and you know, I mean, I love so much that I decided just to try to help to the helping the air club at the Barcelona Flight School, and I became the treasurer of the air club and the Barcelona Flight School. So, and now I'm the treasurer and vice president of that. This is this is fantastic. If somebody of the audience is just planning to come to Barcelona, please don't forget to visit that. I mean, this is the largest club in Europe. 50 planes, 50 planes. I mean, so on, and we have nearly everything from small single engine aircraft to let's say double engine aircraft, helicopters, sailing, etc., etc. So this is sorry for the commercial part of the air club.
I mean, it's really fascinating. You're vice president, but see, your treasurer is again treasurer.
Yes, yes, exactly the same. Now you can see a trend.
There's definitely a trend, yeah, for sure. My anomaly detector here is this.
Yes.
So, Enrique, this is the last question. I mean, I could spend a day with you. You're just so fascinating, and you know, so many questions I could ask you about all of these different areas of your life. But we have to come to a close. So, my last question is, you know, what recommendations you want to leave my audience?
The recommendations about quantum, about you mean about everything, or about personal life? Okay.
It could be anything. So, it could be, for example, you think that universal quantum is going to be solved in you know, by 2030 or 2035. So really, the world should embrace it. Maybe that could be a recommendation. Or
yes. First of all, yes. First of all, a word of advice. I have been taking the responsibility of planning a medium-sized financial institution, and every time I have made forecasting for the next, let's say, 10 years, I have miserable fail. So if you understand that I am a professional failing guy and making forecasting in finance, then now I can go to the quantum. Yes. Nobody knows. I think that even less, that whether we are going to have a quantum computer in the next, let's say, 5 years. In 10 years, they say, yes, we are going to have that. But according to some plans for the large guys just manufacturing quantum computers, yes, they are going to have some nice computer that is going to have show quantum supremacy in some point. The main point is, it's not about quantum supremacy. It's about, let's say, practical quantum supremacy for the hardware. And it doesn't mean that you need a fully universal quantum computer. If some problem shows quantum supremacy, and this problem can be translated to a particular business problem, this is a big hit. Even if you cannot use that without a lot of overheat and so on for some other problem. That may happen. We have different proposals here, as you already know, superconducting qubits, you have neutral atoms, etc., photonic systems, and so on. In fact, some photonic system has shown quantum supremacy as far as and has not been refuted, as far as I know, Xanadu is the case. But the difficult part is to translate those problems into practical problems. But that may happen. Even if this doesn't happen in the next, let's say, 5 years, what we are going to see is a, let's say, improvement of the quantum-inspired techniques, particularly tensor networks or so on. Remember, every time the quantum computers has shown quantum supremacy, 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months later, there is some classical techniques that has overcome that. And that means that the solutions that we have, even if they are classical, they are much better. This is going to be probably a never-ending story. I mean, because they are going to claim quantum supremacy, and then they are going. But look, now we are just talking about a system with 127 qubits from IBM. They claim quantum supremacy. Later, 2 weeks later, tensor networks, which is a quantum-inspired technique, demonstrated that they didn't achieve quantum supremacy. But the way that IBM has gone is way too far. I mean, they have gone a lot forward. So we are talking about different capabilities right now. So not bad. So this is important. If you want to make money with quantum computing and so on the shorter term and so on, for sure. I mean, I came from software. I can assure you that software is the place you have to invest, because we know how to make money from the customers, etc., 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 etc. But if you want just to take a long bet, well, you can do that. I mean, it's fine. It's just do invest in quantum hardware. This is something that is going to be quite interesting. In fact, remember that the executive order that President Biden signed, I think 1 week ago, just forbidding the investments in Chinese companies, that was restricted to three particular industries. One of them was AI, the other one was chips and chip management, and the other one was quantum information systems. Please pay attention. Quantum information systems. It's not about quantum sensing. It's not about quantum communications. It's about quantum information systems. Does it mean that President Biden and the government, they are thinking that this is going to be to have a faster development than expected? I don't know, but just pay a look, pay a visit to the executive order.
Well, Enrique, we're in exciting times, and you're one of the world leaders in this area. So thank you for taking the time and sharing this great conversation with me today. I had a lot of fun, by the way.
Yes, me too. I mean, a lot. You maybe just asking who is this nice lady with so many hairs. I mean, this is Frida Kahlo for sure. This is my kitchen. Sorry for that. And this is also this is Diego Rivera, her lover. And this is the rest of the kitchen, just for you.
well, I feel like I've been in your home, so thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the Brand Called You.